What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me I've got the Supra, and a little over a week ago we hit 1,500 miles on the car. Have the car for about a couple months, and I figure why not let you all know what it's been like owning the car so far. So stick around. Alright, thank you for tuning in. Figured we'd do this a little change of scenery here instead of doing it in my driveway this time. If you're stopping by for the first time, my name is Vi, and this is my 2020 Toyota Supra. I cover everything automotive as much as possible. Definitely a lot of content with the Supra. Consider subscribing if you're interested, and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy this video. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, recently I hit 1,500 miles on the Supra, and I figured I'd cover what it's been like owning the car so far. So I've had the car for a little over 2 months now. Let's talk about some of the positive things about the car. I love the styling of the car. Let's talk about the outside. I think it looks absolutely beautiful on the outside, specifically this angle that I chose to make this video in. This is my favorite angle, this rear area with the hips over here. It's like lip biting. It gets me every single time I get out the door and look at the car and want to get in and drive the car more and more. The look for sure has grown on me even more when seeing it in person and having it in person. So if you're debating whether or not you want to get the new Supra, definitely check it out in person first before you're making your decision. Pictures look okay, but they don't do it justice, especially if you're looking for a specific color. So definitely check out the car in person first and then make your decision. If you like it, don't like it, it is what it is. Next, I want to talk about the power of the car. It is super satisfying. The car comes with 335 crank horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque at the crank. It's been discussed before many times on YouTube. The car is definitely making well over that. Since it's making roughly 335, 340 wheel horsepower on average, we're thinking somewhere around the 400 crank horsepower range. If you don't want to mod the car, it's plenty, in my opinion. It's got tons of kick to it. It definitely pushes me back in the seat if I want to floor it. Definitely gets a little squirrely too if I needed to, but have no issues with the power. Very, very happy with the quality and how it basically punches once the boost kicks in. Absolutely in love with the sound. I've mentioned this in videos before. The sound. The sound is amazing from the factory. I'll put a clip here so you can listen to what it's like with the factory exhaust. And I'll tell you why I say with the factory exhaust in a second. Sounds crazy good, right? I mean, that's completely stock, 100% stock. Toyota did an awesome job as far as tuning whatever they did to make it burble and crackle like that. Now, the reason why I said enjoy the stock exhaust, I recently upgraded the exhaust on the Supra. Yes! Here, I upgraded to the Frequency Intelligent Catback Valvetronic exhaust system, and I opted for the carbon fiber tip options. Look amazing, sound even more incredible. Take a listen. So much meaner than the stock exhaust, doesn't it? And that's saying something, since the stock exhaust sounds phenomenal. The pops and the backfires are deafening. It's crazy. But it sounds so good. When I first heard it, I'm still breaking the exhaust in. I probably only put in maybe like 50 miles with the new exhaust on. You know, I haven't been able to drive too much since the weather is kind of crappy here in Massachusetts, but I'm definitely putting in as many miles as I possibly can because I got some more stuff coming for the Supra soon. Talk about that later on in this video. A couple of more positive things to cover on the car. The interior is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, it's a BMW. I'm not going to get into that, but I think it's premium and it's perfect. And for this price range, if you can get the car at MSRP or even lower, it definitely feels luxurious. It doesn't feel like a Toyota on the inside, which is not a bad thing. Let's talk about a few of the things that caused me some grief and a few of the issues that I have had with the Supra, and a couple things that I dislike about the Supra. So one thing that I really do find annoying after owning the car is the trunk release. So it's been mentioned in many videos on YouTube and in general already, but after owning the car for some time now, sponsored by DHL. Just kidding. But hey, if you do want to sponsor to get my Supra parts here faster, I'm totally down. The trunk release button. So in the beginning I was like, whatever. Whatever, I have it on the key fob and I can release it from the inside on the door panel as well. It is what it is. After living with it for a couple months and actually using it to go to the grocery or kind of putting my camera equipment and whatnot in there, it has started to get pretty annoying. Not having a button back here, having to reach in my pocket if I have like other stuff in my pockets and my hands are full. It is a nuisance having to reach and grab the key, and I don't know why, but I cannot remember for the life of me which one of the 4 buttons is the trunk release button off the top of my head. I always forget. I have to reach out and look at it and confirm and then push the button because I really don't want to hit the panic button late at night sometimes and freak people out or wake anybody up.
Be very, very quiet.
Another issue that I did have with the car, it is resolved now, but I had a really annoying speaker / subwoofer rattle in the cabin when I was listening to music. If I put the volume up even just a little bit, with the bass not even up that high, there was a constant rattling and just a really annoying sound coming from the subs and the speakers. I just really couldn't enjoy the music at all. I took it to my Toyota dealership and they pretty much resolved it almost right away. There was 2 issues with the sub. When they pulled the subwoofer area apart, the mat and the actual covers, they found one, a loose piece of plastic, which they said had nothing to do with the car or that area in general. The other thing is they added more insulation around the subwoofer and speaker area. Honestly, that 100% fixed my problem. I have no problems with rattling, squeaking, or anything like that inside the cabin right now when it comes to the speakers or the sound system. So thank you to the guys at my Toyota dealership. They are awesome. They have been helping me out since day one. They're super cool, super friendly, and they do the job and they do the job right. So thank you again. Another issue that I do have that has been mentioned in other videos, I won't get too detailed, is a rattling in the driver's side door pin. I'm not sure if the passenger side has it. I haven't really driven the passenger side too much to notice, but the driver's side, the door pin rattle is super, super annoying. Windows up or windows down. It's apparently a BMW flaw, not just with Supra, but BMWs in general. It's super annoying. I think the fix is to basically pull the pin area apart and just put some more felt and some type of light insulation to stop it from moving around. I don't want to mess around with it just yet, so I mentioned it to my dealership. I'm going to schedule some time for them to take a look at that and address that issue when they can. It doesn't affect the driving of the car, but it is super annoying to have that around there if I want to have the windows up and cruise on the highway and just kind of keep that nice premium ambiance on the inside of the car. Another thing to note, this isn't so much a negative thing, but for anyone that's interested to know what the fuel economy is in the Supra, roughly what I've been getting is somewhere around the 120 to 150 mile per tank. It's not the worst, to be honest, and that's strictly because A, I'm still kind of breaking the car in, it's like low miles still, and B, I have a heavy foot when it comes to just wanting to hear the turbo spool and the backfire from the exhaust. It's just super addictive. So any chance I get, I'll kind of lightly floor it just to hear the burbles, and that's strictly like, that's my fault that I'm getting really low fuel economy, and it is what it is. But if I want to leave it in comfort mode, I'm sure I'll get much better fuel economy, because this thing does cruise very easily and very well with that 8-speed transmission. This is my weekend sports car, so I really don't care. It's not bothering me. All right, some funny things to note about the car. Since owning the car, pretty much since leaving the dealership day one, I've had tons of people drive by, walk by, give me thumbs up, smiles, you know, yell, saying like, hey, awesome car, you know, we love the car, I think it looks awesome, yada yada.
Oh my God, is this Supra in the back?
Dude, is this a Supra?
Wow! Is that a Supra?
Dude, is it a Supra?
Is that a Supra?
Dude, is this a freaking Supra?
It gets tons and tons of attention, no matter where you go. People that don't know about the car and people that do know about the car, they love seeing this thing, especially up here in the Northeast. There aren't too many on the roads yet. I know I've seen a few. You do have some people coming by and say, how's that BMW? How's the BMW Supra? How's the Z4 and whatnot? But I just kind of embrace it now. It is what it is. I mean, it is pretty much a BMW, but it's got that Toyota flair. I've met a lot of people with this car and people just seem to love it. It's an awesome experience owning this car, not just driving it, but just in general living with it and owning it, and the culture around the car. So I'm totally digging it, and I can't wait to spend as much time with it as possible and share as much content with you all as possible. So let's cover some of the things that I've done to the car since owning it. This is going to be a pretty short list, for now at least. I recently upgraded the catback exhaust system on the Supra to the frequency intelligent Valvetronic catback exhaust system. It is lucky number 7, which is awesome. If you're interested in watching that installation video and the sound clip video, I'll put a card up here. Check that out. It was a lot of fun filming it, and it was just an awesome experience getting to hear it for the first time. So I hope you enjoy that. But I switched to this new exhaust. I think it's beautiful. I got the carbon fiber tips. The exhaust, just the quality is phenomenal. The sound is amazing, and it keeps that factory OEM usability, which I really appreciate, and that's kind of why I went with this exhaust system. Not to mention the quality of frequency intelligent. I mean, they make some awesome stuff for not just Toyotas or Supras, for anything, exotics to, you know, tuners like this. It's really cool stuff. The only other thing that I've done with the car so far is from day one, I basically did a front license plate delete. So I told my dealer not to drill any holes in the front bumper, and I put in a tow hook license plate relocation kit. It is the Platypus relocation kit. I'll put a picture up here if you're interested in checking that out. It's been working pretty great so far, no issues with that. It avoids blocking any of the sensors, so that's kind of why I went with this kit, and it looks great. But that's about it as far as modifications I've done to the car so far. However, I do have a few things already ordered a little while back. That stuff will go on the car. It's some exterior aesthetic mods, which I'm super excited for. My buddy Brian and contacts over at Eastside Motoring here in the East Coast at SEMA, checking out all the companies and manufacturers that are making parts for the Supra. They're gonna gather, you know, their intel from there and what they think is good, and pretty much convince me. Well, they don't really need to convince me, but pretty much give me a list of things that I'm pretty much gonna buy for the Supra. So the mod list is it's gonna get pretty extensive. So I'll cover it when the time comes. If you are interested in finding out earlier than on YouTube, I do much more revealing and sneak peeks on Instagram. Go ahead and check me out on Instagram. But basically, overall, I've loved owning this car since day one, and I still do, and I'm really glad I got the car. It's a blast to drive, it's a blast to be around, it's just a great car. Comment down below with your thoughts on the new Supra. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything you want answered in future videos, or anything that I can do. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. I look at every single comment. I reply to pretty much every single comment. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I really appreciate all the support. And if you are stopping by for the first time, please consider subscribing. Got tons and tons of automotive content and tons of Toyota Supra content coming very soon. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, peace.